Hello, and welcome to the Mead Hall Gaming podcast. I'm your host, Jay, and today I am joined by...
Just John.
Again. Yes, Joe does send his apologies. He couldn't be here today. He was scheduled in, but circumstances conspire against us once again.
Yeah.
However, hopefully, certainly as of recording, our next episode will hopefully feature all four of us.
Finally getting the team back together.
We are getting the team back together for... Well, the next episode we're going to record is going to be the finale of Season 3, or Series 3. So we've got something a bit special planned for that one, a little bit more fun, and hopefully. Lots of homework from everyone for this one.
Yeah. It's a good one, though. I am excited and a little bit trepidatious about it.
It should be fun. There are new things on the horizon. Season 4 will be coming with some changes. But I'm not going to reveal anything about that today. But on to today's episode. We are doing something a little bit different. Inspired by Tabletop Time's epic Titan board, which they did a couple of years ago, we're going to design our own signature Mead Hall Gaming terrain piece for Legions. So the twist for us is not that we're going to necessarily build an entire board. We're going to aim for something we can build and potentially use in our studio. So it's not going to be an entire board. However, it's going to be a themed, single, potentially massive centrepiece, a feature so striking that it can be dropped into any battlefield, and instantly become the focal point of the game's story. In the new upcoming series, we are shifting the format. The only teaser I will give right now is that we will be featuring a lot more pictures and maybe even some narratives. But today, we'll apply some of our creativity to terrain with an eye toward gameplay, practicality, and long-term use. But before we go into any of that, I think it's time to go to the regularly scheduled Tankard Talk segment.
Indeed it is.
And a little teaser for that is it's all John this time.
It is. It is all my pictures.
So John has actually painted some small stuff.
I have painted some things for a change. It's wild.
So I will see you over Tankard Talk in just a moment.
See you over there.
And welcome back. So here we are in the display area. An image is already on screen because I've forgot to turn it off, but it's fine. We'll go with it. And I have remembered to bring my own tankard today.
You've remembered this time. I'm not alone in the tankard.
No, but for comparison, this is an appropriately sized tankard.
This isn't a regularly sized tankard. It's just a comparison.
One day we need to get them both together, and yours is just going to be like that.
Yeah. No, it's going to be like that next to you. It's going to be like that next to yours. Anyway,
indeed. So, John, please do fill us in on what we have.
Yeah, so I've got a little collection of pictures here because I have finished most of... I was going to say all of. I have finished all of my standard Astartes infantry, finally.
Nice.
Mostly finished. The only thing I got left to do is I've still got to stick some decals on the banners, which is the only bit that's missing. But they are done. They are based. They could probably do with a little lick of paint around the rim. But the hardest part is now done with them. So this first little base... is the kind of command squad. I've tried to do something a little bit different with basically each of the command squads. So this one, as you can see, has a little Tech Marine off to the side. Apothecary, Tech Marine doesn't do anything in the game currently. But it does have the Apothecary and the Standard Bearer. And I believe we've got a front picture of it as well. Maybe
we do. But before we go on to that, can I just point something out that's really bugging me?
Yes.
There seems to be a lack of metallic on the vents on the Standard Bearer's backpack.
No, they're there.
Is it?
Yeah. It's just on the bottom vent. It's not on the top ones.
Okay, because you done it on the top one on the Tech Marine and not the bottom.
I painted the Tech Marine before the Tech Marine was painted ages ago. I've forgotten that I changed my standard between them.
Right, okay, that makes sense.
Until this moment in time. So I think I'll go through and probably add some more silver onto the Tech Marine. He's at least relatively out in the open.
Oh, we might have to...
I might have to do a little bit of jump about.
Yeah, there we go.
Ah, there we go.
So
That's the front.
That's your front.
So yeah, the front of the model, the Tech Marine has like a little bit more silver on the front as well, and the model there is basically intended to be like a kind of maybe captain or lieutenant, not a chapter master model. I do have a model for my chapter master who was about to be glued on, and then I snapped the end off of the sword, and unsurprisingly, it just disappeared. So I literally have a finished chapter master missing his sword that I'm going to have to throw away because I do not have the end of the sword anymore.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
I know.
Although, don't throw it away. Give it to me. Basing bit.
Okay, yeah, you can have a murder one. There you go. That's fine. He's in a state to be taken apart.
I shall use him as a basing bit.
So yeah, the one thing I will say, and you will probably mark me down as utterly insane for doing this. The front model and the model to the left, they were glued on after I put down the sand.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because they don't have the disc base. I figured what I do is basically just stick them on after I put the sand on, so then the glue would sink into the sand base, create like a bit of a thing for them to stand on.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the models I showed off in our last recording, I think, with the ones that I've got on the bases, because I'm using a texture paste. I just textured the bases and stuck them straight on top.
So I did that. So if you notice, at the feet of the Tech Marine and the banner bearer, they have some texture paste underneath them, and then I did sand around it.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, because they had the bases, I could just literally go in with a brush, load it up with PVA, and just almost flood the area. And because they were already on the bases, it wasn't going to create like a bit that would go up around the legs or anything like that. Then just literally just stick the whole thing in a thing of sand, pull it out, wait for it to dry, and then stick the guys on.
Nice.
Which kind of works. And I do like my little guy at the front with his big old brazier at the back as well.
That's very cool. I've got to ask one thing though. So the guy on the left, to me, looks like he's got a different power armor.
He does.
So have you got mixed power armor going on intentionally?
I do. I've got a mix of Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV, and some Mark. I've got a couple of apothecaries in Mark VII, and I will have Mark VI, and I will have some in Mark VII as well.
Oh, okay.
So even at this scale, there will be a bunch of different armor styles in there.
That's quite cool. It will make, considering the background that we came up for this lot, actually makes a lot of sense as well.
It's just got like a little bit of a cobble together of everything.
They're a bit of a ragtag band.
The one exception though is all of my missile troops, because I made them first, are all the same armor mark.
Okay.
Similarly, the jump pack, so the all of the missile troops, I believe, are all in Mark III armor, and all of the jump packs are in Mark II, with some exceptions of some of the captains, which are in Mark IV armor. Which I believe, if we go back to the picture of the jump assault, there we go. You can see it's not super clear, but just at the back left, you can see there's a slightly different jump pack style, because that's the Mark IV jump pack style. And what you might also notice is they don't all have chainswords. That guy at the front,
he's got a fist.
He's got a power fist, and the Mark IV guy.
Not a red power fist.
I was looking. For the most part, they don't seem to have red power fists.
No, some chapters do it, some don't. Whenever I've painted Space Marines, if I've got like a gun casing colour, I always apply it to the power fist. I don't know why, it's a habit. So if you look at like all of my what they're called, Alpha Legion guys, and the Night Lords that I've done for Elves, because they've got black bolter casings, I always put the casing of the Power Fist in black as well. That's just a thing that I do.
I could go in and do that. That's not that hard to do. I could definitely at least just do like the back of it in red, because that wouldn't be too hard.
I just think because you like the red, you might like that idea.
I do like the red. I do like the red. I'll be honest, I was just kind of done. I just wanted to get some stuff done. So maybe in the next batch, when I don't give myself
as many.
Hold on, I did the maths.
Oh.
I did the maths, and this was the final completion of. Hold on. Plus 8 plus 3 plus 1 times 5. 260 Marines.
It's not bad.
I know it's not like the most, but this was just like, I just want to get these done now.
Yeah.
And then I can start doing them in unit batches, which isn't quite as horrifying.
Yeah, I agree. When I first did all the infantry, I made the mistake of doing 30-something bases for Space Marines and Solar Auxiliary at the same time.
I mean, this base-wise was 52 bases.
Yeah, so yeah, but not far off what I did then, because I think in total it was 64.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Once you get to the end of that, you just think, I'm not touching infantry again for a while.
Unfortunately, I have a literal pile of Terminators to do.
I have currently another 32 plus bases for my auxiliary to do. That's not including specialists.
Yeah, that's okay. That's more than I have in my Terminator squad. But yes, Terminators are next on the list. Hence why I said I've done the standard infantry. I've not done the Terminators yet.
They won't take you long though, based on what we saw last time.
They will not take me long. But I still need to. I just need to do them.
Once I wrestle back control of the Alpha Legion, I may have to get those prints and print a few of them off for my Alpha Legion.
They are fun
because they look very nice.
Though I do think you need to go in, and I know it's not typical for Alpha Legion, but I do think you need to do some of them with little tusks.
Maybe
because tusks on Terminators, out of everything that is Chaos wise, that is one of the things that would draw me to playing a Chaos faction, is to have the Terminator with the tusks.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But there is one, and I appreciate we'll go off topic at many times of this. This is just one of those.
Yep.
There is an animation that was done by the artist Graffiti Soul. Are you familiar with them?
Not the name. I may
They've
be
done
familiar with the animation though.
They basically their style that they've done their Marines in is very much, imagine Raptors, but leaning even more into the military idea. So they've got Thunderhawks with the shark mouth painted on the side of it and things like that. And they did an animation which was basically one of their own kind of chapter design. This Terminator, but it has like the Chaos Tusks, just a little version of the Chaos Tusks. And this Terminator basically pulls a grenade, pulls the pin with the tusk, and then just flicks it. And this grenade just sails through and just punches a hole through somebody. Because I think it's even with the Power Fist, it's holding this grenade tiny with the Power Fist, flicks it, just goes through a guy and then explodes in the distance.
That's quite cool.
It's very a lot, but it's also
yeah.
And especially having played some of Inquisitor and looking at the stats of Space Marines in that, where a single Space Marine was a boss character that you would maybe go against. You can throw grenades and you don't even need to pull the pin in that game because the strength that they throw out will just kill people. Then they're insane. I was I really like Space Marines. Can I play Space Marine? Can I play a Space Marine Inquisitor? My mate who I was playing with was just no. Under no circumstances can you play a Space Marine in this game.
Although, ironically, from tangent going deeper now, when we look at fantasy role-playing games, right? The normal baseline humans or elves or whatever it is in that game are fighting things like dragons, which, let's be honest, is not going to happen if it was vaguely realistic.
No.
So, actually, if having the option to say, we are going to play superhumans and play that kind of adventure game actually makes sense.
I think the issue is that you either both have to play Space Marines, and then whoever is in charge is just like, here are waves of cultists, just keep working your way through them.
but logically, like that actually makes more sense than like, you know, your Baldur's Gate protagonist can somehow like solo 20 people in a room.
Magic.
Yeah, but most of them don't even use magic.
It's all magic. A wizard did it. That's the answer.
But yeah, it just made me think, actually, that kind of makes sense. Because it's almost like looking at, say, The Witcher. You know, the Witchers are genetically modified superhumans.
Yeah.
Same principle. The whole point is, they are the ones that deal with the monsters because they are strong enough and fast enough, capable. Yeah. That's interesting, actually. Yeah, there's definitely scope for an RPG in Warhammer World.
Oh, I mean, there are loads. There's one that I have been really wanting to play, which is Wrath and Glory. Anybody who I can talk to, I will talk to about Wrath and Glory, because I really want to play Wrath and Glory.
I'm definitely up for doing some RPGs at some point.
Maybe I'll leverage the RPG.
Maybe. Right, let's try and get back onto focus a little bit.
Yes, I think there are some more pictures. I know there's definitely at least a couple more in here.
If I go backwards, I think.
Aha! Yes, so we're back to here. So
that one.
My missile troops that all look the same. They are very much all the same. I will admit they are. Yeah, they all share basically the exact same sculpt. But I have a bunch of missile troops with their nice red missile launchers and the underslung, which. They were the best that I had at the time. I have found much better ones since, but they do the job.
So say, I mean, if you eventually, add the extras, just use these ones to fill in the backline.
Yeah.
Very much like old fantasy players of old, or even the new old world. You just fill your backline ranks with either your worst painted miniatures, or you'd even build like little block, what are they called, rank fillers or something like that.
Yeah, just to make it look like,
make it look a bit more impressive.
Yeah, I think the problem I have with the underslung is that the way it's being held was a real pain to get paint in some of the places.
Right. Okay.
But in terms of the painting, actually, I will also admit they have had probably far too many coats of paint at this stage.
Do you want me to go there again?
No, I don't want you to go there again. These are done. Look at them done. This is committal, okay? This is commitment.
I'm not holding my breath.
It is hard to go back from this stage. Not impossible, just hard. But what I will say, so the red on these guys was done with one of the paint pens, and then Blood Angels contrast over the top, which is why they have that kind of like a little bit of contrast in there.
Yeah.
And then literally the silver was just done. I painted actually all of these. I can tell you where I painted all of these. Was sat on the sofa with a pen, and I literally had a pot of them, and I would just go through, pick them up, and be like, there, turn it over, there, back in the pot, right, next one, literally with this pen. It was great.
Factory lining from your sofa.
Fully factory lined on the sofa, just being like, right, where's it need silver? Done, next.
I can see the appeal.
It was very much just like, just get it done. Just want to be done.
Yeah, it's just like with 40k. Infantry is just, it's a pain.
I think it was just the number that was getting into my head, like just the sheer number I was having to go through.
I know.
Which is why I think I'm definitely going to, in the future, be limiting myself to, I will do a unit's worth and then be done with it.
It is the best way of doing it, really.
And I've also found better ways of doing it since. In terms of painting, which I believe if we go forward 1, 2, is demonstrated by my positively radiant guy in the middle there. I will admit they are brighter, but that is done just with contrasts over white.
Okay.
I think possibly just kind of like I've done a little bit of an experiment with them. I might do some slight modification in terms of doing them with almost like a, not quite slap chop, but kind of like a zenithal, and then the contrast over it. But they were actually surprisingly straightforward to do. So essentially, a lot of it was just go through with the brightest contrast, and then basically work down to the darker Dark Angels. And again, this was another one that I had to stick directly onto the base because he didn't have the little disc to stand on. I think it came out all right, and these ones do show a slightly different armor mark as well. As you can see, this one does have a nice little mix. You can see there is a Mark IV guy in the back, on the back left hand side.
Yep.
A bunch of Mark IIs, I think, based off that backpack.
It's the same as a Mark III, I think. I think the Mark II and the Mark III are very similar backpacks.
Yeah, Mark II's got slightly more segments. I can't remember. And then the guy at the front is kind of like they're a little bit like a mix of, they're kind of Mark IV-ish, but they just look a little bit different.
So, Mark V?
Not quite Mark V, because it hasn't got like the molecular bonding studs. But yes, could be Mark V. It could be a mix of armors, as you insist.
I'm just saying, you keep wanting Mark V. That could be your Mark V.
I thought Mark V didn't exist, Jamie. I thought there was no Mark V.
Okay, we're not going down that route again. Swiftly moving on.
So this is the back side of my other HQ, one of my other HQs, showing off what I would loosely describe as a little bit of like a Justicar kind of vibe model. Because he is accompanying, and I believe this is the next slide, the chaplain. And a slightly different banner bearer.
Yeah. That's quite. It's a very nice mix. Your factions got quite a lot of character because of all these different changes.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the chaplain. I was very chuffed when I got that chaplain together. But the banner bearer, it is also showing like the HQs have a lot of melee. Like they are earning that extra CAF value.
Oh yes.
They are hard earning that extra CAF value. Yeah, that banner is definitely going to get some nice big Dark Angels iconography on it. Yeah, I'm quite chuffed with how they've all come out, and they've and the basing. This actually, this particular base was the one where when I first put the sand on, there was only one model on there, which was that banner bearer at the front. So I stuck him down. Then I put all of the sand on, using the flag as like a thing to hold as I dunk him into the sand, and then went round and stuck everybody else on, which was not the most effective way of doing it. Did lead to me sticking my hands together on multiple occasions, but it's done. And they've all got robes, and they've got their little wings on their ears, and that clearly is a sign of rank because the guy at the back has smaller ears than the guy at the front.
Yep, no, I like it. It looks cool. So have we got? Oh, yep, we have another one.
We've got a plasma squad.
Is that dude in the middle there got a shield?
He's got a shield and a plasma pistol.
Nice.
For basically like the kind of the sergeant vibe. There's 2 of those in my 8 stands of plasmas. And obviously guy at the back with some robes. So kind of like a little bit of a mix again of some people just interspersed in amongst the plasmas, just to mix it up a little bit and make it look a little bit nicer.
I do like what you've done there. You really kind of, it gives it quite a lot of character, and I'm assuming this was more accidental than pre-planned, but obviously the narrative that you built for it now, it just fits so perfectly.
I will say, as I like putting them together, I was very much trying to go like, okay, how can I get like everybody in a position that like says something about what's happening here? I know it's not one of the ones I've sent you a picture of, but I have one of the assault, the jump assault in like everybody facing out. So the idea like they've landed a squad of 5, just all pointing out in like a bit, like not quite a phalanx kind of thing, but just like a ready in any direction.
I've done the same with some of my attacks, and even in my solo auxiliary, I've got at least one flamer stand where they're all just back to back in a ring.
It's a good vibe.
Yeah. It is nice with the legions as well, even with the like small scale. You can kind of with the different posings and placement on the base, you can make little mini dioramas. I know there's at least one on my solo auxiliary where I've got like 3 guys in like a marching stance, and then 2 that are sort of held at ease. So I've got 3 guys like marching down the centre of the base, 2 guys on the flank.
Yep.
And stuff like that. It's just little things like that you can get away with that you don't get when you do the larger scale 40k with obviously a base, 1 model per base.
You can still do like little things on those bases, but
you can, but not in the same way. It's not like, I mean, you can, I suppose, make a little mini diorama, but it's a lot less natural because obviously if you do it at 28mm scale, you've got to put the effort in to make that base and make it work. Whereas with this, it's literally just positioning and posing, and it kind of does it all for you.
Yeah, and it's still being seen from a distance. Like that, I'm very much going close-up pictures. They will inevitably fall under a level of scrutiny, which I will agree they're not going to hold up to if you really look close. But like, they're an 8mm scale model that you're looking at from like across the table, providing they've got like the right kind of vibe. Like, very much they've got the blue. You can tell they're plasmas.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be the equivalent of looking at a 28mm model from across the room at a gaming hall.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it look from that distance like it's painted? Yes. Done. Yeah, they fit. There is at least 3 different paints on every model. And that is our minimum standard as established by Joe.
In fact, these guys have more than 3. They've got white, and then they have the... Oh, and actually, so this blue, by the way, is not athematic.
Is it not?
So this is the Plasma Coil Glow from the Army Painter, which is it's very similar to athematic, but it's slightly more on the blue hue compared to like the turquoise that you get from athematic.
Now you've said it, they definitely are slightly bluer.
Yeah. And also, if put under a UV light, they will glow.
Wow. Great, until you realise that that's photocure resin.
They are also photocure resin, which means if you put them under UV light for too long, they're probably going to have a bad time.
Yeah, so you don't want to do that.
No. But the blue, the little blue glow coming off the plasma is quite nice.
Yeah.
I'm quite chuffed. I'm looking forward to it more on the Sicarians, where you've got big lines of the blue glow that are going to come across.
Wait until you paint your Titan.
Also true.
Because painting 2... I've got the War Master. Painting 2 suzerain plasma destructors. It's got 4 plasma coils per gun.
I mean, I do have that on my Dreadnought. It's 3, but they're divided into 2 on each. It's like a set of like 3 arranged like this.
Yeah.
Around the central barrel, so it has got that nice blue glow to it as well.
Yeah.
So I've had some practice with it.
Cool. Should we move on to the next one?
I think so.
I think are we going? Yep, we're going a bit bigger this
time.
So
yes, after finishing the many infantry, I was like, I have been wanting to paint this guy for a really long time, and he's been sat on the desk of just like, I need to get the tiny ones done, so then I can move on to this guy and pour a little bit of time into something big. So you can probably guess what this is.
It's a banner.
It's a banner. Yeah, it's a banner. It's part of the Company of Heroes or Company Heroes Ancient model. So the banner, I've always really struggled with like cloth texture for painting. I don't know if I've entirely nailed it this time, but I am quite chuffed with the texture that I've got, because essentially it's a lot of stippling with a dry brush, going up in different shades of red to kind of create just a real texture to it. And then the purity field is using a... What was that?
So you put more effort into than I do, I would literally just spray it. Done.
So the purity seals and like the center bit is going to be done using a technique from a channel that I found relatively recently, but I will mention because they are really good. Brush and Banner.
Okay.
They do a lot of their tutorials as YouTube shorts, but their tutorial stuff is actually really good and very, very straightforward in terms of their approach. And they're very encouraging in terms of their in terms of their content. So yeah, so that's how I'm going to be doing the purity seals and that central bit, which is then going to have a nice logo in the center, and then kind of deciding colors to block out the rest of this big banner. But this is one of the first times I've actually bothered to do a sub-assembly that's going to be glued as opposed to one that's magnetized, because I wanted to paint. I didn't want to have to paint around a banner in front of a guy.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's where that is currently. And then we start to get into the rest of the guy, which is this is the start of a cream cloak.
That's a lot of cloak.
It's a lot of this guy has a big cloak, and is going to be getting a nice big transfer on the back as well.
Okay.
So we're going to be going for a nice big old Templar cross on that big old cloak there. But then doing some kind of weathering around it to hopefully tie it into it so it doesn't just look like it's stuck on.
Yeah. Is that are those some candles on the back?
They are some candles on the back.
I don't believe that's in the main kit, is it?
That is not in the main kit, no. So in the Company Heroes kit, basically everybody has like some form of like a little iron halo on their back. I just took a regular backpack and had some candles that I printed and just stuck them on the back. Similarly, when we get to the picture that shows the head,
I can move it along. I believe that's a different model entirely.
No, that's the same model.
Oh, yeah, it is the same model.
That's the same model, just the other side.
I just had it almost looked like he had a gun or something that way.
Oh no, it's like a bolter like slung down the side.
It twigged when I saw the bolt was actually down there.
And yeah, that's like basically like the part of the arm that's then going to have the banner, because basically like holding the banner up like this. Yeah, like trying to go with as clean as I can. I think probably if you go to the next one, there we go. So there's the front. So it is also a printed helmet, because I just wanted to try and do a little bit of differentiation. And again, kind of more of that. This basically like the ochre base to then build up into that kind of creamy color that I'm going for with the cloak. It's going to have hopefully a lot of texture. But, and this is my hobby advice for people. When you are painting, keep notes on what you do for your process. Because I haven't painted the Black Templar before, and I was like, I can probably remember what I do. How hard could it possibly be? Turns out, it was real hard. I made a lot of mistakes painting this guy after being away for so long from not painting, and then made a load more work for myself.
Yeah, so this is probably one of my most essential hobby tools. It is a little black book that sits on my hobby desk where I just write down the process for everything now. Because much like yourself, I haven't painted certain things for such a long time that when I go to paint them, I think, what paint did I use for this?
Yep. What paint did I use for this? What order did I use for this?
Yeah.
There is a model, or there's at least a model, or at least a couple of models, where I don't know how I did it now. I don't know what kind of combination of things I did to get to the result that I got to. But what I ended up having to do with this guy was I was also testing out some other paints, which was definitely the wrong move to make, but I was like, these are probably going to be the same. They weren't the same. Mistakes were made. Anyway, so what I have then had to go and do was, it was a heavy dry brush of a like very dark grey blue, and then a lighter dark grey, or a lighter bluey grey. I previously have been using Dark Reaper and Fenrisian Grey. I was trying out some of the Army Painter versions of the same colours. They didn't have quite the same results. That's neither here nor there. I then went through And essentially, where I'd overbrushed everything, I then went through and basically just blocked out the areas again with a black.
Mm-hmm.
Which, in all fairness, I actually quite like the effect of.
Right.
In terms of kind of going in with a super heavy brush and then almost doing the opposite of edge highlighting.
Mm.
So, like, blocking from the center out and then leaving those edges so that you still keep the nice edge, but you don't have to worry about going around the whole thing. You're kind of doing it the opposite way around.
Yeah.
Which I think has kind of worked out. I'm quite chuffed with how the armor's looking. And actually, there was recently an Eons of Battle video where he was talking about redoing some of his old Templars.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the big things that he was saying, which I completely agree with, is making them look good is putting as much not stuff that isn't black onto the model. Because otherwise, they just look boring. Yeah. So hence why I'm like, I want the brightest red bolter. I want some real like heavy texture in the cloaks, in his purity seals. He's going to have a load of gold on there as well. Like, black is just like the canvas that I then use to build up all of the other colours onto.
Yeah, black is one of those ones that, in theory, in your brain, should be really easy because it's the primer colour for most people's armies. But actually, to make black work as a colour, like a main colour, is really hard to do well.
Which is why they're kind of a bit more of like a dark blue, but I think that...
But that's probably the way it needs to be to make it work.
Yeah.
It's no different to white. White is... You would, in theory, potentially should be quite easy. It generally is a... You know, if you get a primer white, they're quite strong and you do it all in one go, done. But actually, no, the amount of effort has to go into making a white scheme work is quite a lot more than you'd expect.
Yeah. And it's very much like a case of you're working within shades. Like, you want to go... I very much lent into this idea of I want a cold palette on my Marines, and doing that via basically blue greys to work up those things, because like black and white aren't really colors; they're more just like shades of stuff. So when you do white, it's just you want to go from a grey to the lightest white, or to the lightest grey you can. And with a black, you're kind of doing the same thing, but you're going from like the darkest black to a certain point on the grey scale. Yeah, it has been quite refreshing to go back to something quite big. Even though there is still lots of small details, I'm just like, this one model, I just have to worry about these details on. It's a bit like going from, if you're painting infantry all the time, you go and paint a knight, you're like, oh, this is so refreshing, there's so much space to work with. And I'm doing the same thing, but going from tiny Marines to big Marines.
I have to say, I have been tempted to paint up some of my infantry and then paint the full-scale Dominus Knight and just do the two complete extremes.
That is almost on par with going, I've painted some 8-mil infantry, let me go get a Warhound.
Yeah.
A 28-mil Warhound now.
It's not quite that step, but it's not far off it.
It's getting close.
Yeah, I have been tempted, but I've also got a sea of other 8-mil to do. So, and unlike yourself, I need the project. I need to complete the project. I can't just jump in and out.
I need to jump in and out.
Yeah, I can't do that. So my knight will get painted eventually, but it won't get touched until my 8-mil is done. Also, because then I then have an excuse to myself to buy more 8-mil plastic.
That is true. Once you've got it done, I'm very much in the I don't want to buy more, but I could print more.
Yeah, I mean, I've got things I want to print as well, but I refuse to print or buy anything until everything I've currently got is done.
Yes. I think I'm very much in the same boat of I'm gonna put a pause on it until I've got everything that I've currently got on the docket done.
Yeah, I don't want it to end up like my 40k backlog,
which does include and is now put together. I mean, there's not much to see about it at this particular moment in time, but I think you will recognise.
I mean, I recognise it very well because I made it.
It is a special SoCal Stormbird. which is a preview of a future Tankard Talk, but maybe not that long, because I think I have some ideas to make it quick.
Okay. I mean, I very much look forward to it, because I was quite excited when I was making the modifications to that model.
Yeah, this is an excellent. Although I do need to chat to you about how to do the proper mounting on the bottom.
Oh yeah, I'll take you through that.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool.
That's it.
I think that's it, isn't it? Obviously, just
back of the banner.
Back of the banner.
Showing a bit more of that texture.
Yeah. There we go. Awesome. Well done, John, for actually getting some paint done.
Busy hobbying period.
Yeah, I like it. We might actually get to see some Dark Angels on the table this time.
Yeah, just need to get some vehicles for them to ride around in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, it won't take you that long, realistically, to get yourself up to an army. Now that your infantry's done.
Yeah, the infantry have been the biggest sticking point.
Yeah.
And now I can start to focus on the other stuff.
Once you get over the hurdle of getting the infantry done, everything becomes a lot simpler.
Yes. I definitely want to make sure I've got at least. Well, I've got enough assault intercessors, not assault, jump assault marines that I could run 2 Thunderhawks worth.
You have 2 Thunderhawks.
I could have 2 I have a Thunderhawk that's black, and I have a Thunderhawk that I don't want to repaint.
What, you mean the silver one with hazard stripes?
The one that's done.
I'm just going to point out also, they're quite chunky points-wise, so for the amount of effort to paint them up.
They are.
Like I said, once you get past the hurdle of the infantry, everything else becomes so much more... It's satisfying to paint, because you know you've just painted like a massive chunk of an army.
2 Thunderhawks and a Sokar Stormbird. That's most of an army, right?
I mean, that's about... That's exactly 500 points.
Yeah, it's 500 points, yeah.
That would be 500 points in armour, anyway.
Yeah.
The only thing I found annoying painting those was the big vents, turbines, engines. It's just a lot of extra metal to add on.
Those I actually did on my one with... I literally just painted the whole thing in silver and then rattling grime, the entire thing.
Yeah, which is great, but I sprayed my base coat on as well. So I then had to go back over the engines.
I mean, okay, yeah. Actually, on my first one, it was really easy to do because they were already base coated in silver. Yeah, I'm not thinking about that for the future one.
Yeah. Next time I do one of those, because I will eventually do some more, I might try and be a little bit more careful with the airbrush and try and leave as much metal in place as I can.
Or do the thing of like the liquid.
Can't bother with that. Right, so that is it for Tankard Talk.
Yeah.
It's been a healthy Tankard Talk already.
Healthy Tankard Talk.
Both in terms of time and product, basically. So watch this space. Dark Angels are coming.
They are coming piece by piece.
Yeah.
Piece by piece.
Well, with any luck, we'll have 3 Space Marine Legions ready to go very soon. Which also reminds me, do you want drop pods?
I do want drop pods.
I'll send you files.
I would like some drop pods, please.
I'll send you the files.
It's the best way to transport Terminators.
Yeah. Terminators?
Dreadnoughts.
Yeah. Right, anyway, let's move on to the main discussion for today before we rant our way into a 5-hour stream.
Again.
Yes,
let's move on rapidly.
See you in just a moment.
See you over there.
Hello, and welcome back. We are in the main discussion for today. We're going to be talking all about a new potential product or project that we would like to do in the future. Now, I say we would like to do. I kind of dropped this on the team last night, saying that I want to do this at some point. And hopefully they'll be up for maybe giving me a hand making this one day.
Yeah.
But yes,
depending on which one we pick.
Depending on which one we pick. So, today, as I sort of alluded to in the intro, we are going to present a series of concepts for a cinematic, large-scale scenic piece or sort of sub-board almost to go into the centre of almost any table so that we can play our games in, play around. One of the concepts I was also thinking it'd be a great backdrop for when we do army shots.
Yep.
So something that's unique to us and something that we present as something that we have done and made. Very much inspired by the phenomenal work that Tabletop Time did with their massive Titan board. We're not doing anything like that. That cost them over 10 grand. Considering they used something like 5 genuine Forge World Titans to make it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, they literally put a drill through a Reaver.
That caused me pain. Physical pain.
Yeah, I mean, watching, I think, Murray literally bash that thing apart was both awe-inspiring and dreadful at the same time.
Yeah, when you get to that scale, you know...
Which, in fairness, I mean, we could do for a fraction of the price at Legion scale, but...
You know what? Although, given its Legion scale, like, a destroyed Titan at Legion scale isn't that big.
No, that's why if we did it, we'd have to do lots of them.
It would look like a Titan graveyard.
Yeah. Which, again, to be honest, I'd love to do one day, but if I'm buying Titans, I'm buying them to put in my army. You know, if the channel makes some decent money and that's something that people want to see, then channel money might go towards buying a load of Titans that we can bury.
And take apart, and yeah.
Yeah. But my own money, sorry, if I'm buying Titans, they're going in my army.
Yeah, I respect that. I would also do the same. I would be of the same opinion.
Yeah, Legio Invictorum needs growing, not being destroyed. We're gonna present a couple of ideas that we would like to potentially look at, and sadly Joe is not here. He no longer gets a vote, so it's down to me and John to basically pick one of the ideas and draw the other two into helping us make one of these wacky ideas. So essentially, as I say, we want a visual thematic hook to act as our studio piece, a landmark that instantly stands out in photos, and hopefully one day battle reports. But it does need to add some kind of level of immersion or narrative depth. So we do want it to be something rather than just some random rock face. And it doesn't necessarily have to... It doesn't need to be... So a lot of the terrain that I built is quite generic so that you can move it around and, you know, plop stuff on top of it and whatever. This thing is going to be like its own self-contained diorama almost. It's going to tell its own story. So I'm not expecting us to go in and like, put extra buildings on it or anything like that. No, this thing is its own thing.
Yeah.
That's the idea. And obviously, we are constrained by the fact that we are a very small channel with very limited budgets, basically our own pocket money. So this does need to be something that we can have on multiple boards. It might not work for every board. It doesn't have to work for every board, but it should be reusable. And also, it needs to be something that I can conceivably store here. So, hence why we are not going to make a full-size Titan board, because I've got nowhere to store one. If we could, I would.
Magnets on the ceiling. You just, like, stick it on the roof.
No. Although I have seen things where people have mounted them on walls.
I saw a thing where somebody mounted on. We've probably seen the same thing where somebody mounted on the wall. It looked almost like a picture frame when it was up on the wall. Yeah, that was a good one. I genuinely looked at it. I was like, could I do that? And then I looked at my wall. I looked at my walls and I was like, I can't think of a wall where I'd put it. And then I did the measurements. And I can't fit it in the room that I'd want to have it in.
Maybe one day. So, shall we pitch our ideas then? So we got a couple of ideas each.
Yep.
I think I've got about 3.
Oh, I have 2.
You have 2. Okay. Well, that makes life easy then, because I will present one idea first. So my first concept, or my first idea, is basically a massive crashed spaceship. So, you know, a big Imperium warship crashed, half sunk into the ground, with, you know, some of its guns still on the side of the ship, like the broadside weapons.
Yep.
And maybe we could even have some kind of like feature where you could jump in and actually fire these warship cannons. Which could be interesting. Maybe. So I'm thinking this thing would be quite long and wide. Quite long rather than wide or blocky. It would just sort of sprawl across the table.
It would be like you could do it in almost like sections.
Mm-hmm.
You could have like the prow as like a section. And then you could like move it around the board as well.
Yeah, so you could definitely you could build it in smaller sections where you can almost tell a narrative. Maybe it's crashed into the side of a rock face and part of the prow swung around or something. You could. There's a lot of scope to work some interesting ideas into it.
Yeah, I like it.
And I also kind of like the idea of having like at least part of the hull like broken inwards, so you can actually put models into it as well.
Oh, in my head, the immediate thought I had was like, imagine, so if you took like one of those like the big kind of capital ships, and I almost imagine like at least like splitting it into three.
Yeah, I would say.
You've got like the front half, and then you've got that whole bit open, and then the middle, then the back. And maybe it's a case of like you just leave the middle bit that people can get into, and then the other two are like sunk in some way, or like
That's the main scope of that first one, really. I don't think necessarily it'll be overly complex to make. I mean, it'll be mostly 3D printed, probably.
Yep.
And it'll just be a case of coming up with kind of the design, the structure, and the number of pieces we want to do. So yeah, that's the pitch one. So with the Crash Starship.
Crash Starship's a good idea. I do like it. So unlike you, my first one is the one that I think I would probably make, which is based off of an existing piece of terrain, but expanding it and making it an existing piece of 28mm terrain.
Okay.
To clarify. But expanding it because it always felt a bit weird in 28mm scale, but I feel like it would work really well at Legions, which is the Fortress of Vengeance.
Fortress of Vengeance? Which one's that one?
So the Fortress of Vengeance was
I remember the Fortress of Redemption.
Oh, sorry, Fortress of Redemption.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
The Dark Angels stronghold
Which
style.
got like the big tower and the like winged angels on it.
Yeah.
And almost like the bastion, almost bunkerish.
Almost kind of bunkerish.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining
I remember when that came out.
People have been asking for it to come out again, like on those made to order events. Like I would buy it. But kind of scaling it up to make it more like basically making it a fortress. The idea being it's like a big imperial fortress that you drop into the center, that could then be fought over. The key thing that this is, visual appeal. It gives like a nice big, almost like central. Or if you're doing a defender, it could be you pull it back to the defender side, and they're defending this fortress.
Yep.
The absolute key thing, and this is my kind of main thing for it, the gameplay implications, how this thing would function in the game. It has, and you've already said it, manable weapons. If you are controlling this fortress, you can use the guns that are on it.
Yeah, so you want.
I quite like the idea of it. If it's in the center, it's like this area that you're fighting over, and if you can get in there and you can take it over, you can use those guns to defend that central location.
Are we picturing like a traditional fortress style look with some kind of ring wall and a tower and guns on the flanks, or are we picturing it more like the Fortress of Redemption, where it's almost like a bunker with a flat top and a tower?
I was picturing it more like a fortress, because I feel like the reason why they went with that design of it being a bit more flat and like more like a bunker was just because it's 28mm scale, whereas like we can make it into a fortress. The kind of the idea that I have in my head in terms of it is you would take this idea of you basically do a quarter of it as a block with like a central tower in the middle and guns around the outside, and then you could go, okay, I want to do something where this is in the center of the board. I take 4 quarters, stick them all together. I get a big tower in the middle, and my guns are around the outside, and it counts as 4 buildings. Each of them is a separate building in and of itself.
Okay.
If you wanted to do it against a back wall or against a cliff face, you only take 2 of them, stick those 2 on there, and now you have it's like a fortress embedded into a mountain, and it could then have various other weaponry. You could have something that if you've got all 4, it's got like a big like central gun or something like that then lets you it's got like a volcano cannon mounted to the top or something like that. That's the vibe.
I like it. It's a big gothic fortress.
You can see why I say that if there was going to be one that I would build that one. I would get that one myself. That would be one, because like that with a Dark Angels force would obviously be perfect.
It would work very well. So my only issue with that one is I definitely want to build at some point in my generic terrain set the fortress walls for Hive City and stuff. So I feel like if we were to do that one, it needs to be something completely self-contained. So although I see what you mean about like the quartering, I would think if we were to do it, we need to build like a not like an entire castle system, but literally just a fortress, almost like a massive armored tower, almost with maybe an internal structure, but just this big walled monolith almost.
Yeah, I mean, I was going for, is there a way that we can have it in like using it in lots of different ways? I would be very happy with it just being just a big sod-off fortress that you could stick, you can stick somewhere.
Because what I'm thinking is, you have your big sod-off fortress, and then if we wanted to do like a proper siege game, then we could
build a wall alongside it.
Yeah, we can have the wall going around it to create the wall. So basically, what we're talking about is designing the fort at the center to then work with what I will eventually do, which is the ring walls. My
brain has just gone to building castles in Age of Empires. That was where my mind has gone to. You put it in the fortress, and then you make sure the wall connects to the fortress along the side.
See, that's not... my brain goes to... what was it called? A game called Stronghold.
Stronghold, yes.
Yeah, that's where my mind goes.
Yeah. Stronghold was a much better castle builder.
It was a fantastic builder back in the day. I don't know if it's any good now, but...
They did a HD remaster of it.
I believe I've got it. I've just never loaded it.
You should.
I probably should. But yeah, so that's kind of what I think would probably be the goal, is to build the actual fort.
Yeah.
Just make it big and impressive.
That would be absolutely. As I said, like I can picture, or like if it's not like a swivel mounted volcano cannon, but imagine like that central tower just being like a big cannon that's firing out.
It's funny actually. I was thinking you could have a removable top, so that you can either have like massive siege cannons that for the game, or you have a massive orbital cannon to swap out, so that it's more like a narrative piece, so that you don't fire that in the game because it's too big, but
you're firing it up, and if you've got control of it, you can take out like the ships in orbit.
Yeah, so you'd have the 2 options. You can hot swap it out between like a game interactive piece or a game objective piece. 2 very different styles of defensive cannon.
You can have a lot of fun with doing it. If we make it like properly like themed around like Dark Angels. Like the guns that are mounted on the wall, like Dark Age, like it could be like a lot of plasma guns mounted on the walls, for example. Yeah. Probably the key thing would be that idea of like manable defenses, like guns that you get access to by controlling that building.
I mean, because it's going to be quite a big structure as well. I can imagine, because I'm thinking about like I cannot remember what they call it, which really annoys me because I'm used to be a massive medieval history nerd. But some walls have like a on the walls, you have like a section that sticks out and around, so that you can kind of fire down towards the side of the wall. If you're trying to, am I describing that?
I know what you mean.
Think of like a balcony, basically, a fortified balcony.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is you'd have like a series of those along all the walls of it, but have them magnetized in, so you could hot swap them out for different weapons and
Yeah. That'd be cool.
And that probably would be again, not very hard to do. You just do a relatively generic space-ish themed colour scheme, but then obviously you get your iconography on it in different ways.
You could have that as your indication of control.
Yes.
Depending on which faction is controlling it, determines what weapons are sticking out of it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe make it like a massive door big enough for, say, a War Master to just walk out of it.
If you want to station a War Master inside of it,
I mean, it'd be cool, wouldn't it?
It would be cool. And
we know that those kind of things exist because in the I think it's called Broken Lance, the animation on Warhammer Plus that's all about the knights. The knights march out of a castle and the doors swing open and the knights are just walking through it. And the door is big, like significantly larger than the knights, so we definitely know the Imperium has castles and doorways that can fit Titans in.
Yeah. Yeah, okay then.
Okay, I like this idea, it's very cool. I like it. I feel like many of these are going to end up being made at some point.
Yeah, I feel like the problem is that we will just want all of them.
We probably will. And we probably will do all of them eventually. But we will need to pick one that we actually
will pick one. Okay.
Plan.
So
number 2 for me is going to be something that I actually wanted to do in 40k. But the amount of time, money, and space I would need makes it very impractical, is a massive, bombed-out cathedral. So, my best reference I can give you, hopefully you've seen it, those of you who have seen it, you'll get it, is the scene from Game of Thrones last season where the Red Keep ceiling has fallen in. So I'm thinking something like that. You've got basically a cathedral, but all the roof's caved in, so you've got all the play area inside, full of rubble and all sorts of stuff, but still having like one tower standing up, maybe with holes plunked out of it and stuff like that, so you can kind of garrison the tower a bit as well. And the idea mainly comes from, you won't know this, I don't think, but back when Cities of Death, the concept of Cities of Death, came out, I think, in 4th or 5th edition, maybe even 3rd. I can't remember. I can never remember which editions I played. I know I played 4th. During one of those editions, there was a campaign supplement called Cities of Death, which is when they really introduced the idea of fighting in a city. And there was a box they released, which was this massive terrain box. And on that box was this beautiful picture of this sort of ring wall, almost, of wall tiles put together and just Marines in it firing down and stuff like that. It was so cinematic and so cool. I just thought, a big bombed out cathedral would kind of give that same feel and fit. Now looking that up, aren't you?
I am. I need that as a reference point. Cities of Death was 4th edition.
It was 4th edition, yeah.
You're on about the picture on the front of it, which is the Tau fighting.
I think it was, yeah. But it was not the it wasn't Cities. It was a Cities of Death terrain box that they released.
With the yes, with the Sanctum Imperialis.
Probably. It's been many years, but I've got that image in my brain, and have done ever since. So yeah, I'm thinking something like that crossed with like the Game of Thrones, Fall and Red Keep.
So would it be basically like an area of terrain that like only infantry could go through? Maybe like infantry and walkers.
Maybe you can have big doors and stuff that have broken inwards, so you could drive tanks through it as well.
Yeah.
It'd just be a nice big block of terrain you could just whack in the middle of a city-fied board.
Like. You could go. This is like, I don't know, like if you imagine like quarters, you could do like it's a quarter of a quarter scale, or it could be this is like 50% of the map is this bombed out cathedral, because that would be the right kind of scale for 40k.
you definitely could. So there's scope to basically make it any kind of size you want, realistically. But I mean, at Legion scale, it could be half a board, or even a fifth of a board. Would still be quite sizable.
It would be, yeah. I could see it being very sizable and very, very cool.
Maybe some of the walls would have second, third, or even fourth levels where your infantry can stand up and fire down,
and just fire out in the same way.
Yeah,
it definitely would have because I know you've talked about this from a 28mm scale, but it would definitely have such size in 8mm.
Mm-hmm. It would be the grandeur you expect from the setting. Us at home, or even in a decent sized studio, could not pull off a 28mm scale.
You know where my mind has just gone, and I hate that this is where I've gone. But if you do this, I know what I will do.
Go on then.
Stained glass. So you do it in clear resin, and then you contrast paint.
I mean, if we were to do this, that would be one of your jobs. Because I wouldn't want to do it. I've got some clear resin you can have, but
I already know how to. I already know some files that you could do it with.
Oh no!
Because Daka has did a Sister's Fortress with it was, I think it was basically a set of windows that you could print, which were basically, I think it's stained glass representations of all the Primarchs.
Oh right, okay. Oh, that would look cool.
I think it's something like that. I know.
Oh no, because that's now got me thinking. On the Gothic cathedrals that they show in the things, they have those sort of struts that come off. They have names. I think they do. They're real architectural things. They're like struts.
Oh, what the lines that come off, the.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called. They're the big sticky out structure things that come off the side of the building, and they've normally
because I should also know what they're called, because there was an interview with Miyazaki talking about the original Dark Souls and how he went and saw a cathedral with that and was like, I want to run up those and just put it in the game.
So what I'm thinking is those, but then on the end of each one, a mini statue of the Primarchs. Because we've got printable files for most of them, and the ones that we don't, we'll just have to, make them destroyed versions.
Good. I'm literally looking. I'm just going to check on the. It's versions of all the Primarchs. Oh, they must have both versions, because they've got they've got all the bad guys, but they've got the good guys as well. But yes, that's.
It's an appealing one, isn't it?
It's definitely a visually appealing one. I think that one would be a real pain to paint.
Oh yeah, I would love making it. Painting it would not be as enjoyable. But then again, none of them are going to be that easy to paint, I don't think.
I will tell you right now that one of the stained glasses is Alfarius. You could have a stained glass Alfarius.
Which is very cool, and I definitely want.
Okay, all right. You have to buy the full pack to get the loyalist Primarchs.
Okay, but something we could think about doing.
Something we could definitely think about doing.
I think we know at this point we're probably going to do it eventually.
Yeah, I think we might have to do this one eventually. I think there's too many good ideas in this to ignore. I've got to try and follow that one up now.
Go for it.
Okay, so my other idea is, as I said kind of before we started recording, my two ideas were very much around adding in gameplay ideas. And this one is kind of it's to a certain degree RTSing the game of Legions.
Okay.
Because my idea is a Mechanicus factory.
Okay.
So the center point. So it's imagine like I'm almost imagining it kind of like a big like Mechanicus building / like assembly line, maybe like open on the top.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, the idea being is controlling this lets you start producing Mechanicus units.
Right.
Even if it's just like the auto thralls, like you can just like if you control it, you can just like send a unit out or something like that.
Why has my brain immediately gone to Star Wars Episode 2 when they're in the droid factory?
Yes. It's that, but it's making servitors, so it's so much more horrific.
Just big vats of fluid and stuff like that all over the place.
You could have like the line of like the still image is just the line of people being loaded in.
I mean, and
I think it's something for a bit of Mechanicus rep. You know, I did one for Astartes with that fortress. I figured I'll do a little bit of Mechanicus rep, and yeah, like the Mechanicus factory. Just like I don't think it wouldn't necessarily be like a structure that you could like fight inside in kind of the same way, although depending on the size and scale of it. But I'm imagining it more as like a mechanical thing of you can go into it, but maybe like you can't. I don't know. Maybe you can't shoot out of it, but you can if you're inside of it. You can choose not to shoot out of it, and then you can start like trying to pump out units from it.
I feel like you have to kind of design it so that it's got multiple sections, so you can kind of garrison different parts of it. I like the idea.
I like the idea when I came up with it. I was like, this feels like, but because I there's definitely been influenced by a recent game that's been released. I haven't managed to play it yet because I've only literally just got it again. But I was like, how can I put Dawn of War into Legions? Because there's a scale element here which I feel like would work.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of like a thing on the table that allows you to produce units that thematically make sense.
Because, making units outside of the Mechanicus feels like it's a little bit like too quick. Like you can't just be like, I'm going to make a new Astartes because that's not a quick process.
No. Well, none of them work really for that purpose, do they?
But Mechanicus.
Although that does give me another idea. Oh shit. I've got another idea now.
But I thought Mechanicus making like servitors and like Mechanicus constructs could be a really fun version of it. And it could be, and this would be a really interesting way if you did it from a gameplay perspective, you only keep control of those units as long as you control the building. So you could be like, oh, I'm going to push them all into this direction, and then suddenly you lose control of them. They start running, they run back at you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I like the idea. I'm not finding it as easy as the others to immediately go, that's how it will look.
No, I feel I'm imagining it kind of like a big like assembly line style thing. Like as you said, I don't think the reference to the second Star Wars is entirely unfounded in terms of visualization for it. Yeah,
it's just how to represent that externally, or whether we'd have to break it open to get inside it. Potentially, I mean, there's no reason you couldn't have it so that we could have a removable roof or something, so that you could actually, move inside it, because they do that obviously in 40k. All the time, you have units moving inside of it. Obviously, at Legions, generally, none of the buildings are big enough to warrant doing that. But if we picture this as big
enough, we
could actually, in theory, almost do like a 40k style internal structure.
What we have is, if you have two units go inside the building, you pause the game, you go across to the second table, and you play a game of 40k to decide who controls the building.
I mean, that would be hilarious, but it would really drag down the game time.
It depends on the edition,
No, we'd have to do Kill Team.
Yeah. Do like 4th edition. Like 4th edition's a fast game.
True.
We should do 4th edition rules. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So we've now invented a piece of terrain that requires us to play another game alongside Legions.
I didn't say it was a good idea. I think it was a fun idea.
It's definitely a fun idea, and something I definitely think we could do. I just think we need to take Kit to the drawing board. I think it's a good idea. I think it's going to be a lot harder than the others we've got so far.
Yes, I think it's probably one that it gets a pin put in it for later.
I think that one's definitely a later one, because that one needs.
It wasn't my strongest idea, but I think it was a fun idea.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea, and I love it. How I do it is the only bit I'm like, I need to think about how I want to do this.
It's very good.
Yeah, but I like it.
What was your last idea then?
Do you want my last idea? Do you want the one I just come up with?
You know what? Let's go with the one you just came up with just now. Quite
simply, well, it could be one of two things: either a starport, like some kind of big port area for ships to come down on. And again, think about like manufacturing. It's in manufacturing. You take over the starport, and you can call in more reinforcements.
That was another thought that I did. I wasn't. You weren't alone with that thought.
Okay. The alternative would be actually building a orbital elevator.
Oh yeah.
So you'd actually you wouldn't build the whole bloody thing, but you'd just build a nice, interesting structure at the bottom, and then just this tower.
The line going up through the middle. Yeah.
It'd actually be quite simple to do. Actually, I think that one.
That would actually be very, very straightforward to do. Yeah. You can do a lot of the same kind of idea, but yeah.
So it's an idea I've just had, and I probably will say let's not do that one because I think I'll probably be able to do that quite quickly on my own. So orbital elevator / starport might come at some point.
Yeah. Your last actual idea, though.
My last actual idea, which definitely would require a hell of a lot more effort, is a full-scale Gothic 40k style Colosseum, an amphitheatre. Like think Roman Colosseum, but about 100 times bigger, and like with Gothic architecture and maybe some tech in it as well. And my concept would be this would be the literal jousting arena for knights.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
So it's got to be big enough so that like the main portals, the entrances in and out, are big enough for at least the Cerastus knights to be able to walk in and out of, so that you can get Cerastus lancers like potentially going across the lists.
Oh no! Come on, it's got to be able to fit even though they're terrible. It's got to be able to fit all of the knights in there. Don't forget about those Acastuses.
No one's going to go to an Acastus night duel, are they?
But if you make it big enough for the Acastus, you can squeeze in a Warhound.
I mean, in fairness, I think the Cerastus are actually taller anyway, so...
Okay. But yes, so knight jousting arena.
Essentially, yeah. So just a big column. So Colosseum. So instead of being circular, it would be sort of longer.
So I have said this before, and I will say it again right now. Read Kingmaker.
I am reading Kingmaker.
This is in it.
Oh. Cool.
What you have just described is in that book.
I'm not that far in yet.
Then read quicker.
I read when I paint, and I haven't painted for a week.
Okay. But like that idea of that visual, yes, 100%.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm envisioning like the stands being big enough for your 25mm bases to get in there, so you'd literally be able to have infantry in the stands. So not only could we play mini games in there, so I want it big enough so we could literally play mini games with knights, with like spectators, but also like for Legion's gameplay, you could actually have you're not garrisoning a building, you're literally using it as terrain, you're walking over it, running over it, and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I think I'm just trying to think in terms of like mechanically musing on that idea for like rules wise, you could have like something special of like if you get rounds like the same section, you don't like take the penalty for like fighting in like a building in the same way. Because like you've got rounds to the point where you can then start to interact. But I think scale-wise, this thing would be big.
It'd be big.
It would be real big.
Real big.
very cool, but real big.
Very cool, very big.
I'm literally picturing like almost like the center of the board. Probably like if I'm imagining boards are in quarters, this is like half of every quarter of the board.
So what I'm thinking. So the mats I've got.
Yeah.
Well, I've got obviously the full scale one. I've also got the half scale.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it would fit almost inside just the half size.
Yeah.
So you could literally have it like onto one side, or you could put it in the center, and you'd have like a small deployment area around the sides, and it'd just be this big brick in the middle of the table.
It would be cool. Yeah.
It would be mental.
I could see that being an absolute vibe, and I think probably like the going into the idea around like the build of it. You could do it in sections.
I think you'd have to do it in sections.
You do it in sections, and then in terms of then kind of painting it, I think there would be a very fun, to a certain degree, but definitely a production line of doing like banners. Mm-hmm. So you could have all like the banners hanging down around. I'm imagining like around like the top, like all these different like styles of banners going along.
I think what you probably could do is you could probably manufacture some like banners that you can kind of hot swap in and out, so that you could have different banners for who's controlling sections, or if we're doing like a mini game and stuff, you could have like the night banners in there, like who's jousting when, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it should be quite fun. And the other thing I'm thinking, because obviously, yes, it is thematically a knight's jousting list, which is very different to a Colosseum. What I'm also thinking is it does play both roles. So although it is a jousting list, which if anyone's getting confused, a jousting list is the technical term for that area where knights ride at each other with the lances. That's called a list.
Oh.
Which I've realised you didn't know just now by that reaction. Yes, it's called a list.
I didn't know that, but thank you.
I told you, I used to be a massive history nerd. Still am, just not everything's in there anymore.
I was like, used to be.
So although it could be that, so that would be. So what I'm thinking is the internal bit would be a panel that you could plop in. So one panel is a list. You could pull it out and pop in new ones. So to turn it like into a Colosseum arena, so it's just like a flat ground.
A big kind of open.
Yeah. Or you could have another one where you should close the gates up and you maybe put a water feature in there. Because historically, I believe it is true, they did used to flood the Colosseum.
They did used to flood the Colosseum, yes. Even I know that one.
So, you could basically just, you could there's almost an infinite number of things you could do with it. You could just chuck in a new plate every time for all sorts of different arrangements and setups. You could put smaller bits of terrain in there. You basically, it's a canvas almost in and of itself.
It is very much a canvas in and of itself.
You could even go so far as to literally turn it into a fortress at some point as well. So you could literally have like hot swapping out like defences on the top ring and gun placements and stuff. You could the city's being sieged. It's been sieged for the last 6 months. Yeah, Space Marine Commander said, right, there's a massive Duracrete? What do they call it? They've got some special name for their concrete, haven't they?
They do have a special name for it.
Whatever they call it, you got this massive superstructure. Let's fortify it. Think Rogue or Dawn. He'd go in there and say, right, line that thing with guns.
Yeah. I was like, because that's one sticking point in terms of, like, does it necessarily fit for everything?
Yeah, there are certain boards you couldn't probably use it on.
You do realise, though, that you would have to make a second version of every section for when it's destroyed.
I'm okay with this.
Because I'm imagining like a bit where you've like blown through the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You've got like the end stands, and then just like a Titan marching through the center of it.
I'm totally okay with this.
Yeah, I thought you might be. I don't really have much to say other than, I mean, it sounds very cool. my only devil's advocate moment here,
Mm-hmm.
and this isn't me saying I don't love it. This is just does it start to a little bit get away from legions?
In what sense?
In the sense of like doing basically the mini game of knights jousting in the center of it.
I mean, yes, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because it'd give us the option to do something else.
It would give us the option to do that.
Whereas all the other ones that we come up with, there's no scope to do anything else with it. Whereas at least with this, not only can you use it as a board or part of a board or a set piece, you could use it as a parade ground for your armies.
Yeah.
And you can quite literally play mini games in it. We could come up with some cool mini games.
Yeah. Okay.
So it kind of serves multiple purposes.
It does serve multiple purposes. Yeah, I can't deny it. It's a cool idea.
It's mental.
It is mental. It is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, I think to really do it justice, I think it is going to be a big thing.
It would be big, but what I would imagine, you'd start off small. You'd just make one version of it, and we'd just build on it as we go.
Yeah. You'd have to do it in sections.
Yeah, but that's also the benefit if we actually made it as like a configurable piece with multiple components. That just means that every few months we could just add a new piece.
Yeah.
Or a new section, or a new layout, or a new design. And I'm probably thinking like the main body of it will probably be just a relatively solid piece, so that you're not worrying about the internals of it, and it'll be relatively easy to manufacture.
You could almost do something like basically like a tray that it sits on, and then you just do like slots in to a tray.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe.
Well, actually, to be fair, that would work with the idea of the plate for the.
That's what I mean. Is then you have a tray. You have a plate underneath, and you could almost do it as like you do like magnets around the outside, so it doesn't get knocked off. Then you just have a hole, and you can just go pop and just like push from underneath, and it pops it out.
It's probably the most ambitious concept I come up with.
Oh. 100% the most ambitious concept that you've come up with. But it is a cool concept, so I can't deny you on that front.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, even if we don't choose to take that further here, I probably will build it eventually. I would prefer to do it with other people, because that would make my life so much easier. But I definitely will do it, because I can't have that idea and not do it at some point.
What material? And sorry, in terms of like painting wise, what material would you say we'd paint it out of, or we paint it to look like?
I would say rockcrete, stone, concrete.
Because in my head, just my visual of it is going to like a sandstone kind of style texture. And
I also know how to do that relatively easily. Basically, what's it called? Grout. You just paint it with grout.
Oh.
Just slap PVA all over it and put grout all over it.
I mean, you know what else you'd probably get? Those rattle cans that basically have like a texture in them.
Yeah, I've never tried those.
I've never tried them, but this might be the time.
It would be, if there ever was a time, this would be the time.
If there ever was a time, that might be that actually sounds like that would be very straightforward. If that works, that would be incredibly straightforward. If
that works, that means the actual hardest part would just be designing the print and construction process.
Oh,
because actually painting it then would become very quick and easy. Okay, so
these are all horrifyingly good. These are all horrifyingly good ideas. And
I mean, I want to do them all.
I do want to do them all.
But we probably will, between us at some point, probably end up doing them all.
We'll at least try. We'll try, or we'll die trying.
There are several hills we can die on here. It's fine.
I think it's not so much the hill that we're dying on; it's the climb to the hill that we're dying on.
Yeah, I suppose we've actually got to get there first.
Yeah, we're gonna die climbing this hill, not on the hill.
That with that Space Marine from the Dawn of War trailer.
They brought back the scream. people complained they brought back the compressed screen.
Of course they did.
When I saw that, I was like, it's perfect. I have no notes.
Okay, right. Well, those are our insane ideas. If we are potentially going to commit to making one as a team, which one do you reckon we could/should do as our... Let's call it our first project, because I kind of like all of them.
I do like all of them.
I feel there's a couple of them that could be done by one person comfortably, and I think there's a couple there that need a team.
Yeah.
So let's go back through them and identify which one we think is a team project and which one we think are not. So ones we could conceivably do as a solo project.
Yeah.
So option 1 was the Starship.
The crash ship.
Yep. I would say that's relatively simple in compared to the scope of the others.
I think it depends on the scale.
I think it depends on how you want to paint it, because I think actually making it probably isn't that hard, especially as I already know of 3D printable files that would work.
Okay.
That might need tweaking, but I already know of files I could probably grab straight away and make this thing. Incidentally made for 28mm scale, but ironically it actually works really well for 8mm scale.
Ooh.
Because the ships are ridiculously bigger than they are presented.
Ships aren't.
Like, even at 8mm scale, they're still not big enough.
Yeah.
Because I did watch a video on someone who actually calculated how big it would have to be at 8mm, and I think, if I remember right, it still would have to be the size of a bus.
What?
Yeah, the ships in Warhammer are enormous.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Might not be quite the size of a bus, maybe a small car or something. I remember they did build like the prow, but it was literally just the prow, and it took up a wall.
That's insane. At 8mm scale.
8mm scale. So it won't be to scale. That or it'll be a very small ship.
Yeah, it's a very little ship. It's an itty bitty ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that could be done by one person, but it kind of depends on whether you want to go to town on making it painted special.
Yeah, I think that is definitely one that it could go either way. But if you reckon that is the kind of thing that can be done by one person,
I'd consider doing it on my own.
I mean, yeah, you can probably get away with like just doing a lot of it in one colour and then just dry brushing details, basically.
Pretty much, you could. And again, it's a wreck, so it doesn't need to be overly ostentatious.
Okay.
That would be my opinion. You could make it a team project because you could go to town on it.
Yes.
But I think it's conceivable to be
I'm kind of with you. It doesn't inherently need to be a team project. So, in a slightly similar vibe, the Fortress. Mm-hmm. I reckon that could probably be done solo.
I agree. I think you could do that solo. I know how I would do it as well.
How would you do it? I've got ideas. How would you do it?
So I would do it as a single piece, a single print, basically, on an FDM printer. Build it all up in one piece. Potentially you might have to cut it and slot it together, and then just have
basically,
and then have your balconies or parapets or whatever you call them. Have them as separate pieces that you can slot in with a magnet, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
I think overall it wouldn't. And what you can then do is obviously, if you design it in the right way, you can design it so that you can keep adding to it.
Oh, Jamie, I love that you're phrasing that as if it's something that I might be potentially designing. We both know who's designing this.
Okay, fine. I'll design it.
Oh, thank you for volunteering.
But yes, if it was designed in the right way, it could be designed in such a way that you could basically start a version of it, and then over time you can sort of add more bits to it.
Yeah.
Which I don't think would be overly difficult. So I think that one is definitely something that can be done solo, but would benefit from multiple people. Whereas the Starship one, I think you still get just as good a result with one or multiple. You just It's just scales the difference.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with the Fortress, you benefit more from having more people because you've got more ideas coming in, more concepts, more people to paint in more intricate details and stuff. Because I think something like a Fortress, as we know in 40k, they are quite revered, so they probably will look quite ostentatious. And we're not talking about something that's already crashed and burned. We're talking about something that is potentially pristine almost.
Yeah. Or you could definitely do some wear on it.
You do wear on it, but we're not talking about a ruin.
It's one of those ones where I reckon, it could very much be done solo or as a team thing. I do still really like the idea of it.
I love the idea of it. I'll be honest. It's one of it's in my top 3.
So. Next, we had the Bombed Out Cathedral.
Bombed Out Cathedral, yeah. That one's a team job.
That is a team job.
It could be done by one person, but it'll take a long time.
No, I think that's 100% a team job.
Yeah, that's a team job.
The Mechanicus Factory, similarly, would need to be a team job.
Yeah, for no other reason than I think it would take a team of us to figure out how to build the bloody thing.
Figure out how to build it. I think there's it's essentially Mechanicus. The only way that looks good is when it is very detailed.
Yeah, and that's going to require a lot of work.
And then obviously the Colosseum is the one that...
Colosseum is a team job, although it is one that I will do on my own if I have to. But it is definitely a team job.
Can I in a way of pitching, before we move on to the development side of it, can I pitch what I think should be the first one that we make?
Yep.
Which is your Bombed Out Cathedral.
Really?
The reason being is it would have been the crash ship. But as you said, I reckon that one. I'm agreeing with you. That one could be quite an easy one to do as a solo mission.
Oh, sorry. Before you go on that point, not only is it soloable, but if we made if we adapted the files that I've already found, we could all do our own ones.
We could. So the reason I'm saying about the Bombed Out Cathedral is essentially my logic being. This is the first time that we would be doing a group one, and I think we would want to be more experienced before we go to do the Colosseum.
Okay. I have a counterpoint for
you. Is it the Colosseum because you want to do it?
No. I would say the Fortress.
Ooh.
Because I think the Fortress would be easier to make.
Fair, yeah.
Because the Colosseum, I think, is a very ambitious project, and I think I think you are right that there's a certain level of learning that everyone would have to do to even begin to start that thing.
Yeah.
As much as I really want to do it, and eventually will, it is too much for us to start with. I don't disagree with you at all. The factory, great idea, but it's going to be very complicated and a lot of commitment.
Yes.
To do it right.
that I don't even like. I like the idea. I'm much like you. I'm like, I don't even necessarily know where I'd start with.
No. The starship, as we said, can be done by one person, I think, quite comfortably, which only leaves the cathedral and the fortress. And I think the cathedral, because it's a bombed out cathedral, there's a lot of details that need to go into it, and potentially quite small details. To make it feel right, because we're literally talking about like Legion scale brickwork being shattered all over the floor and stuff like that, and the stained glass windows, the statues. It's a lot. Whereas the fortress,
now that I think about it, I'm like,
Whereas the fortress,
I'm kind of heavily relying on the idea that it's destroyed. So, but yeah,
I actually, the opposite actually, because it's destroyed, it's going to be way more complex. Whereas the fortress is a simple enough concept and structure that we could build something in a reasonable time frame and learn some skills and keep building on it for a little while until we're happy that we're done with it, and then we can move on to something more complex.
Yeah.
So I actually think the fortress is probably the better option.
Cool.
From a practicality standpoint.
I mean, I'm down with that. I like my idea of the fortress. So.
I love it. I think it's a great idea, and I also think, as I say, it's the most practical and sensible choice.
I do think, yeah. I was almost thinking of being like, you could potentially do the fortress as a solo one.
You could do the fortress as a solo one, but I think it gives you a nice base
to build up from.
And to teach other people how to do these things. So I don't know whether you've had any real experience building terrain.
Not really, no.
Whereas, in which case, I think I'm the only one that's ever built stuff from scratch.
Yeah.
Let alone, I'm probably the only one that knows enough about Blender to even start designing something as well.
Oh, absolutely. I am not defending myself in any way, shape, or form here. I'm like, nope, you are spot on.
So that one will be a lot easier for me to then start the process and then teach you guys how to do the more physical side of things. And you've got the experience painting, so do I. Joe and Elle's not quite as much. Well, Elle's none, and Joe's a lot further behind us in the number of paint jobs he's done. So we need to kind of build into those skill sets.
Yeah. I was also the part of the other reason why I did say about the idea of the cathedral was to try out the texture paint.
Okay.
But to be fair, we could just do that somewhere else.
What do you mean, the spray?
Yeah.
Do that on the fortress.
Still,
Could just. I mean, most fortresses are made from rock rather than metal, so
that is true. A big metal fortress would be funny.
But yeah, no, I think a big rock-free fortress would make sense
big
anyway. So we can still test that. The other thing as well is there's also, because of the idea of hot swapping stuff out and potentially having new iconography put on it, it gives us all of an investment into it as well, because we can all take control of it.
Mm.
Whereas with something like the cathedrals, no one really owns it. No one's got a personal investment for it.
Yeah. Whereas this, we can each put our own little spin on what it has.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that sounds like a good one to take forward.
Cool. So we've made our decision.
I think we made our decision.
Yeah. And
the fortress.
I'm pretty confident the other two will be happy with that choice.
The Fortress of Redemption. You could. I'm just thinking the Night Lords one. You could so grim it up when they take over.
That's the thing. There is so much scope to do something with it.
When the Night Lords take over, if you take it back, you've got to get those mop servitors really working.
Yeah, that's not going to be fun.
It's not going to be fun.
I tell you what, though, I'm not even going to try and 3D print mini skeletons. It's not happening. I tried doing it for 28mm scale. That's hard enough.
Maybe there's like a skeleton wall that you could get or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like little 8mm bone collections and stuff, which I think are slightly too big, but they'll do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just looking forward to the big unfurling of the skin banners.
God. Where did you get that much skin? The guys that owned it previously?
It's going to be like you have to do like little lines to show all the people. You could get like a roller that's just like outlines of people's skin. And just like have it like stitched together, so when you could just roll it out, and it just creates that texture across it.
That's actually genius, and not even that hard to make. No, John.
Yeah, literally, it could be like you could have it like a. You can have it on a roller like this. There's just like a load of people, like outlines of people, and then you just roll it over green stuff, and that's your banner. And then you just cut it to whatever size you want.
It is doable. What? Oh, this is mad.
Well, this is definitely mad.
Yeah. Okay. So, we've got our pick, so let's have a look at, or quickly brainstorm, basically, how we might go about building it.
Yeah.
So, we got the fortress. Now,
I think,
go on.
I was going to say, in terms of what you said, because I was initially thinking it would be a lot of resin to do, but FDM sounds like a bit better material to do it in.
I think the vast bulk of it will be FDM printed. I think.
Yeah, do like details and stuff like that in resin.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like there might be some statuary and stuff like that we might want to add to it, which would have to be done in resin.
Oh, 100% there'll be statuary.
But yeah,
that's the given.
I think for the facade, the actual structure, FDM printed base, and then any sort of greebling and extra gizmos might be done in resin.
Yeah.
Because then we get some nice details as well, so we can mix the two mediums together.
Yeah. Makes the most sense.
I reckon so. Which will also make it reasonably durable and quite lightweight.
Which definitely needs to be.
Yeah. How big are we thinking of making this thing, though? It needs to be big, massive.
See, my first thought would be basically like the footprint of like 4 of the buildings that you're currently using.
Yeah, which would make it about 12-inch square.
Yeah. I mean, would that be about what you kind of had? Like that was what I had in my head.
I think that's probably not a bad shout in terms of footprint. Especially as I mean, I've got an envision in my head of like almost like sloping. What are they called? Okay, it's another thing that does actually exist. They've got names. There's like support columns again, but they're obviously not jutting out, but they're just.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much thinking that it almost needs to look like something between a church and a fortress in that very like you want the Gothic design.
Yeah, it's got to have a nice. It's got to have a nice shape to it.
I'm imagining maybe like again, this is probably where we need to know more castle terms, but like the turrets on the castle, like each of those being like a 25mm base size.
Yeah, minimum, I would say.
Yeah.
Because I'm also thinking, how tall are we going to have this thing? Because I'm thinking tall.
Taller than the buildings you currently have?
I'm thinking at least as tall, if not taller.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe then should it then be like sheer, or do we want it more like stepped in? Because I in my head it was sheer.
In my head, it was more tapered. Not massively, but just like a short taper on it.
Okay.
Because also, don't forget, like structurally as well, a tapered structure is going to have more strength to it, rather than a sheer face.
As I said, like a lot of my kind of reference point was going back to that Fortress of Redemption kind of. That was my reference point for it, but there might be other kind of designs.
Yeah.
I realized I was getting confused. The Fortress of Vengeance is what Daka have done as a very similar to style of the fortress.
I mean, what I'm thinking in my head, obviously, going more into sort of bringing it closer to a castle fortress vibe. So that big column, instead of just being like a column, is the structure. So we're obviously going to get rid of a bit of the base, maybe, unless you do something like that base, but have it go all the way around, so it encircles it, and then you have a column rising up. So you've got like a platform on the bottom there where you could like lay out all of your tarantula turrets and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
Or your infantry lines or something like that. Either or. Because then also, if you've got that slightly wider base to work around as well, there is some scope that we could add on to it as well. So we could expand it out a bit if we really wanted to.
I mean, the goal is to make something that is expandable. So
yeah, I'm thinking maybe... So like the actual tower, I'm still thinking of that like 12-inch square, but then actually having a base layer before that's maybe another extreme from there.
It's going to be big.
But then that's the point. It's meant to be a big.
That is the point. That is literally the point. Is we want it big.
Like I want it big. I'm thinking it needs to be big enough that you can place a unit, a reasonably sized unit on the base, so you've got something to photograph from. And then you can obviously have the tower coming up behind them. Obviously, you're not going to be able to fit a Titan on there, but most of our basic units, and maybe the Knights will fit on the base as well. I'm not saying that the Knights will actually in gameplay be able to use it, but
but you're right. It could expand into like a full kind of if you want to really expand it, you could almost do like towers with walls and then the big tower in the middle and kind of expand it out that way where
could make it into like almost a network.
I'm just trying to kind of like think about how, because you could then have like, imagine you've got like tower connecting wall, tower connecting wall, tower connecting wall, tower connecting wall, and then like the tower in the middle could be removed, which creates just like this space with nothing in the middle, and then you have that, and that could be like, that could almost be part of like the start of like the wall. But you put the tower in the middle, it becomes this fortress building.
Yeah, I like the idea that we make this almost like its own. It's its own sort of almost. It's not like a city. It's not like the Hive World fortresses. This is like a almost like a prefab fortress that they just kind of plonk in quickly. It's still huge because it's 40k, but it's something that you just kind of appears. They can erect quite quickly, and then it's modular enough that they could add on the extra sections, and you could almost make a ring wall out of these things.
Have you ever seen any of the Gothic sector terrain?
Don't think so. I may have seen. I don't recognise it by name, but it's not.
So they do a load, but I'm pretty sure. I'll send this across.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like that's the kind of vibe, like the towers, like
yeah. That's what I was thinking for the tower. Yeah. Yeah, we're on the same line there. Yeah. So that's the main central column, and then then at the base, so you can obviously have that just plug in, but the base is more like more like the fortress essentially with the sloping walls.
Yeah,
up to a parapet or almost like a battlement.
So we could lean in. You said about the idea of like that prefab idea. We could almost lean into it, and like it is literally something that is dropped, and like have like these like feet that have dug into the ground around it.
Ooh, okay.
Like it's an orbital like castle. They just drop this thing and be like, we need a building we can defend. Cool, drop it and just thump.
Oh, that's thematically so cool. Like the most ridiculously sized drop pod you've ever seen.
You just drop the building. You don't drop. There's no pod it's in. It's just the building.
No, but I'm just thinking like the concept is like we're not just dropping drop pods. We're dropping buildings. Not just buildings. We're dropping fortresses.
We've spoken about it before, but Poor Hammer's PvE game mode that they did, they had a thing in there, or they have a system in there for you can call in buildings that are dropped, but you can also choose to drop them on people in that game. Because basically somebody pointed out that this happens, and then they were tactically calling in building drops onto people. Which is very funny. Not something that I think we would need to, like, probably not what we're going for with it, but just, like, that thematic idea of just, like, you drop this building in. Like,
not to say it will never happen, but it's not something that we'll build any rules for it for now.
It's not something we're doing right now, but like that kind of like lean into the idea of it, literally it is a dropped in building.
Yeah, I like that idea, like an orbital drop fortress,
Yeah.
which then really sells the idea that we could literally put this on any board.
Yeah, because they just rock up and they just throw this. They're like, we need a building here. Cool, we've got one.
I also like the idea, like if you're invading a hive city and you've just broken in, you've got past the walls, and you think, we need something nice to defend. Get the artillery to just level a block of buildings, and then you just drop this thing on top of it. This is our city now.
This is ours.
Okay, yeah, no, I like that. So we want to we definitely want a base structure that's designed with the intention that we could potentially expand it and turn it into a bigger structure.
Yeah,
by making more of these potentially.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. So yeah,
I think it would look fun.
I'm thinking that the top as well. You want enough space up there to put like a good few number of units. Like each tower needs to hold at least 4 bases, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like it should have a whole mix of
I tell you what we could do as well. I said about hot swapping the weapons out. If we hot swap the top out, so you can swap it with a landing pad.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like we're going to build it up as a platform and then have that platform be able to be built in any way, shape, or form we want.
Yeah. So I think that's the main body of the structure, isn't it? So we've got the tower, we've got the central column, which has also got sort of towers built into it.
Yep.
We've got the base platform, which is also serving almost like a ring wall or a battlement.
Yep.
Which can then be used to sort of connect to adjoining built structures as well.
And you could do a thing of, if you've got like outer wall of it and then inner wall of it, you could do, if you're taking the building, you fight the inner wall and then you fight the inner wall. Like you go up through the level. Like you can garrison there or you can garrison there. And then you can have a calf fight between a building.
I would imagine the battlements themselves they're not typical garrisons. You just mount the wall almost. You're not actually garrisoning.
Okay.
But the tower, I think, you garrison that. I would think. Because then you can also have the cinematic, guys climbing up the walls and fighting. It'd be cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
It also means as well if you remove that keyword as well, it does mean that knights and titans could literally just walk up to it and like sweep across the battlement.
That's what we like to see.
Yeah, because technically they can't engage structures, so this would allow them to actually be able to go up to the walls and just imagine like a titan chainsaw just sweeping across the battlement.
I think it would also be one that, because I think, buildings typically only have like 2 wounds?
Typically, although something this scale, I'd be looking at giving it at least 10.
Yeah, I assumed it would be something that would be like tougher to break down.
It would have a high save as well. Decent save, lots of wounds, and probably have like garrison capacity for like 3, maybe 4 detachments.
It's going to be able to hold a lot of people for a really long time.
Yeah. I mean, this thing is a bastion. Like, if we ever did like a ring wall of them, that would be like we're playing a 10,000 point game.
Yeah.
But one of them should be enough that you could conceivably put it into a 3K game and it would feel like you're holding a fort. You want some want some weapons so that each detachment that's inside it can man it.
Yep.
As well, so we can get that sort of concept in that we've talked about many times, not just today. Environmental weapons.
Which is definitely where we want to I mean, like, I like the idea of the environmental weapons, or, like, manable weapons.
Yeah. Well, also, the other thing as well, obviously, if you garrison that central structure, most infantry aren't going to have the range to fire out of it anyway.
Yes, you'd want a different set of weapons to be able to shoot.
So having manable weapons on the platform that those infantry are then manning and operating makes a lot of sense. So you could say, if you've only got one detachment in there, you can only fire one of the weapons. But if you've got 2 or 3, you can fire multiple weapons.
Yeah. Like, I'd probably say it would be something like up to a limit. You'd go, well, you probably do however many weapons there are.
It's how many detachments you can put in.
And you could maybe go over. You might be able to say you can garrison more than that in there, but you can't fire more shots.
I was thinking, you could swap out the top with a massive cannon as well. This will be a really, really nice, really modifiable to purpose structure.
I'm genuinely excited to see this now.
I'm not going to lie, I'm half tempted to get on Blender.
We'll just cut the episode here and you jump on Blender now.
3 days later. So I've built it.
Yeah, we built it. We now have to start painting it.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Cool.
So we've got basically the kind of the overall structure that we want.
Yep.
It probably is worth, and obviously we kind of know the materials we're going to be working with, mostly 3D printing. Obviously, I'll be doing a lot of Blender work for this. We will do a mixture of filament and resin just to use the medium that's most appropriate for what we need. One thing that we probably should have a think about, because obviously we've already spoken about the modularity. If it's nice and modular as well, obviously that benefits storage, which is obviously one of the big things. There's a limited amount of space, even with 8mm.
Even with 8mm, yeah.
But I want to sort of bring or mention something like, or how we'd greeble it, how to make it look like something that's set in the setting. Because obviously we could just have a blank facade with some brick texture, but one, that's going to be a pain to do. But 2, that's not enough. It needs a bit more. Obviously, 8mm scale we can cheat a little bit. We don't need to go down to like putting windows in it, but we do want to go to the effort of putting some details on there. Yeah. Whether that
I think some elements of like, I mean, you say don't put windows in there, but like there could be some, or like it's like firing holes that troops could be shooting out of, like that kind of vibe up the wall.
Yeah, you can. You probably should.
I'll tell you one thing and it does not make it easy to do, but I feel like it would be kind of cool to see on there. Would be to have some like basically just like servitors moving about, have some little bits where it's just like there's just like little servitors or just like people moving about within this.
Definitely do that. Yeah.
Kind of vibe. Like they don't add anything in terms of like the combat, but they add that kind of like little bit of elements there. Maybe things like little balconies as well might be like a vibe on the tower.
I definitely think some kind of balconies or firing platforms would be useful on there. Certainly, I picture that there needs to be some kind of like pulpit or dais right at the front for like the commander to stand in. Can you imagine the lion just standing up there?
I'm actually my first thought was actually going to a chaplain.
Okay.
Chaplain there, lion stood behind.
Yeah. So I think you want at least one of those, like quite high up, sort of, but then some smaller ones dotted about, which should also be quite good. Make them just big enough to put like a 25mm base on it, so you can say, right, that's that. My unit's going in there. I'll put one there to represent it.
Yeah.
So it also has a gameplay purpose then as well.
Yeah.
But what I'm also thinking of is on the Fortress of Redemption, it's got the that big winged facade.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to do that across the whole thing. I still want it to look quite functional, even though it's still Gothic. But what I was wondering is whether we could kind of incorporate a statue face to go around it, so we'd have one or, depending on how many sides we're going to have, probably, I mean, just looking at that, that's going to be, 6 faces? Each face gets like a panel that you could magnetize, so you could just pop in different statues.
Yeah.
Well, obviously not full statues, but, statuary.
Like facades in there.
Yeah, we can heart swap out new different facades and stuff like that, so that if it's the Dark Angels, they can have like a winged angel on it. If it's the Night Lords, you could just have this big face of skulls or something.
And I probably say I feel like what would be a good way of maybe doing like having that come across is like, rather than having that hot swap during the game, like it's one of those they've dropped it in to begin with, but then using the same system as when we do taking the objectives, have points for putting the flags in around it as well.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the idea. I'm not talking about moving the facades during game, but it's just for whoever narratively owns it at the start of the game. Yeah. Can affix their regalia onto it. But yeah, having some kind of having some flag points would be quite good. Yeah, that'd be quite interesting.
I think they work quite well, kind of like plugged in on the side and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can add some definitely add some fixture points to put banners in. And obviously, I mean, I've got the banners designed. I obviously haven't put the logos on for you guys yet, but that's not too hard to do. So obviously, that would just be a case of that printing off a few extra flags of our own. We just pop them on.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what kind of other greebles. I mean, like obviously, like bits around like the crenellations around the wall is obviously a given. Maybe like some statues as well. I know we're saying about like facades, but like some statues in there.
Yeah, I did wonder about if we could get some...
Or gargoyles. Could we do gargoyles?
Ooh, gargoyles would work. Gargoyles would work. Oh, well, okay. I'm making life hard for myself now. But what if on that? So that Gothic sector thing you sent me, the tower.
Yeah.
What if the top of the tower was just a gargoyle, and then the platform sat on top of it?
Okay, right. So like, so it'd be like, so instead of the tower, it's a gargoyle, and then like on the back of the gargoyle is where the top of the tower sits. Kind of, yeah.
So the actual top of the gargoyle is built into the top of the tower.
Yeah, no, I think we're picturing the same thing, but saying it slightly differently.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be you would have 6 of them kind of pointing out. They would look very cool.
Yeah, it would look, and I think that would sell the Gothic effect, or almost on its own.
It really would sell the Gothic effect on its own.
I don't think we'd have to go too much further with the facades, the sort of super gargoyle structure. It already, to me, in my brain, is like, that's Gothic.
Yeah.
That I could see that being in 40k somewhere.
And the different like gun mountings on there as well. Like it's got to be church and guns. That's what it is.
Church and guns. Yeah. I think that'll work.
Yeah, I think that would work.
I think that'll work very well.
We've got some greebles.
Yeah, I don't think we need much more than that. Like I say, I think we wouldn't probably put statues on the tower, but on the rampart section, you might every few crenellation section we might have a statue.
Yeah.
In there, which again, if we really wanted to, we could magnetise them so you could swap them out for different statues as well.
That way lies madness. I feel like the simplest answer is you just get like you could literally just get like a standard marine, and just like if you get one with like sword and board, I'm imagining, and then if you wanted to make them look more like a statue, just scale them up on the wall, just scale up the file, and then just paint that up as a statue.
There are loads of things we could do. Yeah, there's definitely options there.
There are a lot of options.
I'm
seeing with this already.
Yeah. The only thing that's sticking in my brain that I do want to figure out though is how you get into it. Because there needs to be an access point, doesn't there?
I mean, my immediate first thought is basically like, so stairs going up into a big set of doors. That's my simplest answer. Is that the entryway?
That's the tower, though, isn't it?
Yeah, to get into the structure.
Yeah, that's fine. But what about the battlement base? Because obviously that battlement base thing is going to surround the tower.
Oh.
So how? Because obviously I'm not picturing that as something garrisonable. As I say, you just so it's like almost like a solid brick of material to make it super hard wearing.
Yeah.
Effectively, what I'm saying is, you can destroy the tower, but you shouldn't be able to destroy the battlements because they're so thick and durable. But how do you get onto them? Because there needs to, unless we go with the idea that you have to literally ship people on with transports to get them in and out of it.
What if, because there's battlements around the outside, yeah?
Yeah.
What if it is just, because it's just going to be infantry, what if it is something just simple as there are little cutouts of doors on the tower bits around the outside, and then you just do a little entrance bit at the top. They just they go in, they run up the tower, and then they can get around.
Could do. Although I kind of like the idea of being able to put dreadnoughts up there.
You just got to take the dreadnought apart, carry it up, and then put it back together.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, the other thought could be, I guess it could be ramps on the outside, rather than ramps kind of going out from it, it's the ones that go up on the side.
Mm.
Imagine they go parallel to the wall rather than horizontal.
That would probably work as well.
I mean, if you really wanted to say, actually, you can only get in via infantry can get in that way. But you do a little crane on it, and that's how they get the dreadnoughts and everything else on there. They literally crane them up. Because then you don't have the big ramp, and actually you're going unless you take this over, you ain't getting a dreadnought up here.
Yeah. I think we might have to have a little think about that one, but
I think we might need to do some test designs and figure out what works.
Yeah, because that's the only bit that's sticking in my brain. I know it's a game and you can abstract, but I still feel like I want it to look functional.
You want to, you want to do as little as possible to break the immersion.
Yeah, and I don't like the idea that they can just sort of phase through the walls and get to the top. Yeah,
you'd rather go, how can I understand how this works?
Yeah, because the other thing is, obviously it's got to feel like it's a defensible position. So one of my thoughts is just maybe just one side of it is just a stairway, but then that is just giving access to it. So yeah, need some thinking on that one.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think I have a solution at this particular junction. But
although in fairness, I suppose the actual fortress is the fortress. The walls are just the battlements. So I suppose you could just have a set of stairs going up to it, couldn't you? Because the idea would be, in a defensive position, you line it with guns, put your defences on the stairs, and then the idea is you fall back into the struck tower and bar the doors.
I think this is a perfect opportunity to rewatch the Two Towers. and then, actually, no. Well, if we're just watching one of the Lord of the Rings films, we might as well watch all three.
Well, yeah, but then if you do that, I also need to watch The Hobbit as well, so that's 6 movies.
Yeah, well, it's for research purposes, so we can understand how those castles work.
18 hours of pure research.
Pure research.
Plus the 36 hours of bonus content.
Yeah. We just need to really understand how it all works.
Yeah, definitely. I think we got a really good idea, and actually the semblance of a plan.
And the semblance of a plan, which is the most surprising bit.
Yeah, I genuinely think this is not only achievable, but we could do this in the next 6 months.
Yeah,
I think we've got something here.
I think we've got something very cool. I just really want to see it now.
I might have to find some time to get on Blender at some point in the next week or two. Even if it's just a mock-up.
Yeah, I think I would definitely benefit from mock-up, and then we can start to like poke and prod at the mock-up to get like ideas around it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've got something here that could be very epic.
I see what you did there.
You saw that, did you?
Yeah, I saw that.
I have a feeling it's going to have to be metal, though, if we're dropping it from orbit.
Yeah, probably. Rockcrete is one of those things that's like it's as durable as they need it to be for the sake of the story. It could be a Rockcrete facade on the outside.
They drop a metal structure and then they build rock around it.
Or it's a combination of like Rockcrete and metal, maybe.
We'll have to have a think about it once we see it. What do we think it's going to look like?
Yeah, I mean, it would be a hell of a like. Just the idea if they drop this thing from orbit, like you don't need to clear the area. That thing is landing and clearing its own area when it hits the ground.
I mean, it sounds insane, but then they get imperators from space somehow.
Yeah, do they drop imperators?
I mean, I assume they don't literally drop it, but I'm assuming the engineering impossibility is basically the same. So if they can get away with that, I'm pretty sure we can get away with this.
I think getting an just on this idea for a brief second, getting an imperator onto a planet sounds insane. They get them off the planet as well, which sounds more insane.
I actually don't know which is more insane, to be honest.
If they're durable enough, you could theoretically drop them from orbit. Getting out of orbit again, like the amount of energy it would take to lift an imperator off of a planet.
But I mean, they've already solved the problem of building an imperator, which is, scientifically not possible. Like it would collapse under its own weight.
Yeah. So whatever materials they've got, they clearly have a solution already.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not worried about it. It's perfectly.
I'm not worried about it. I just want to know how it works.
Well, I'll tell you what. You can be head writer of the lore of this structure that we're gonna invent.
You're gonna watch me go insane trying to understand the be like, I've sat down. I've looked at the physics. It doesn't work.
Yeah, we know it doesn't work. Make it work.
The answer is space magic, and that's all I can give you.
I'd imagine that's what most people say to the Emperor. It just works, okay?
It just works. I can't understand. Like that is why the AdMech are the way they are. Yeah. They'd be like, we tried to understand it to begin with. We just gave up, and we just have to accept that it is what it is now.
We gave up understanding technology. We just worship it and hope it works.
Yeah.
That's probably how it all started. Someone who was just praying something would work, and it did, and that was it. The religion was born.
I mean, there is one of my favourite stories that came out of the Mechanicus, which is there's like a whole story about one of them seeing like a blinking light on this thing, and they call like the head tech priest who comes down, and essentially is like, I will enact the ritual. The ritual of soothing for this machine, and like says some words, swings some incense, and then just hits it really hard with his stick, and the light stops blinking and goes green, and he's like, "My work is done." And just like they're like, "He's so wise."
All that bullshit just for the hit to be the only important part of the whole thing.
Literally.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
What they don't tell you in that story is that wasn't a blinking light, that was actually a button.
Yep. Just needed somebody to press the button.
That is genuinely exactly how I'd imagine 40k works.
Oh, fully. And there's the bit about the two-legged Mechanicus walkers, the Iron Striders. They can't ever turn them off.
Yeah, I know, because they don't know how to turn it back on, so they refuse to turn them off.
So they built pens for them to run round in.
Literally headless chickens.
Well, they've got a head. It's just very much fused into the body. It's not having a good time.
So let's review and provide our final thoughts before we fully round up the episode, because I think we could probably spend the next 4 hours talking about this, but the reality is, until we actually get pen, paper, and blender actually in our hands, we're going to be something. We could go to infinity and beyond with this.
Oh yeah, and we absolutely would. That's the bad thing.
That's the problem.
We definitely need to bring somebody else in to rein us in, like specifically us two.
Yeah, I know, we're terrible. Okay, so let's just to recap then. So we obviously had a couple of different ideas. The monstrous Colosseum, broken starship, the factory, and the cathedral.
Yep.
But we did settle on having a go at trying to come up with a concept for this Fortress of Redemption inspired construct, which turned into an orbital drop fortress.
Which is the best string of words I've heard in a long time.
The orbital drop fortress. Which
we've got a name right there as well.
I mean, that is the tagline.
Yep.
But it needs like a proper Warhammer Gothic name as well.
Just make it Latin.
Yeah, okay. I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we come up with this. The lore behind it has expanded, actually, quite natively, just come up with these ideas. And we've got what I think is going to be quite an impressive modular structure that we will endeavour to build at some point I genuinely will probably in the next month actually put some designs together. I wouldn't expect to see it built for a while, but New Year?
Maybe New Year. New Year, new terrain.
Yeah, we could potentially build this. It's certainly a prototype. Whether it'll be painted by then, who knows? But
I reckon we can probably get at least some ideas around on it.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon in the next 4 to 6 months we could potentially have this thing actually built. So yeah, I think that's probably a good place to leave it. Really, I mean, we could go into all sorts of topics and scenarios, but I genuinely think the concept is there. What we want to do is there. I'd say jobs are good.
I think jobs are good.
That's what we got. That's what we're going to go with.
That's what we're going to do. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, great concept. We've made something in our mind's eye that's going to look amazing. Hopefully we can pull it off.
I'm hoping we can pull it off.
And if we pull it off, Colosseum's next.
Yeah. This is the first one.
This is the first one. This is cutting our teeth on the easier of the set.
Theoretically easier of the set.
Theoretically. No, I think generally compared to the others, it probably is the easiest.
Yeah, probably.
Apart from maybe the starships, that's probably the easier one. But
just because you already know that there's stuff out there for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have to remake everything from scratch. Whereas this, I will build this from scratch.
Yes. But think how cool it will be.
It is going to be very cool. I'm very excited. I'm definitely going to build it. Or at least start designing it very soon. Right, I suggest we roll over to the round table before we...
I think the wrap-up's good.
Before we get any further into the tirade that we normally go into.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Before we go on any more topics. Yeah. Right,
I'll see you in just a moment.
See you over there.
And welcome back for the finale, the roundup, where we finish off the episode, basically. So typically I've been given a bit of advice or getting some thoughts and opinions on what we discussed, but to be honest, it's just been the two of us, and that's pretty much the entire content of today's episode, really.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in my show notes, I actually put something like, which concept do you think would be fun to explore in the future? Well, for me, I've already said that multiple times now. The Colosseum is the one that I definitely want to do. Absolutely 100%. But not yet. Not ready for it yet. But if we took that one out of the equation, which one would you say would be a good either next step or step after the next one?
See, the one that still sticks out to me is like I think there'd be some really cool things to do with it. Would be the crashed ship.
Mm-hmm.
I think that still gets my vote simply because there is a bunch of interesting things we could then explore with that idea. Like those idea of like manned weapons, or like you've got if you can figure out a way of lining it up correctly, like you line up everything with like the fixed ship cannon and you just fire everything in that direction kind of vibe. And there's also like potential interesting like narrative aspects of being like, oh, this ship crashed, it was carrying something, you need to go and recover this item. Like there's interesting elements that kind of come from that one.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of potential in that one. Like I said though, I definitely think that's something one or more of us could just have a go at in our own time, if and when we got the time. But yeah, I definitely agree. It's definitely an interesting one that we should look at some point, regardless. Yeah.
Is there another one that you'd look at?
I'd look at them all.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, all of them I think are interesting.
I think in terms of what I would do, other than the Colosseum, like I'd actually go ahead and do off my own back on my own would be, as you say, the Starship. I would just go ahead and make one.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe we each go and do a Starship.
I think we should at some point. I think we should rope Joe and Elvis into this as well and say, right, here's some files. Go make. Well, I suppose we'd have to print them all, but we'll print off 4 sets, and we're like, right, everyone picks them up in your faction.
Yeah, right. Everybody go make a ship. Everybody go paint a ship.
Everyone go paint a ship. Yeah. I mean, we talked about doing 4 Primarchs at one point. This could be our
4 broken ships instead.
We could do 4 crashed starships.
I do still like that 4 Primarchs idea, though.
I mean, we'll definitely do that at some point. Okay, right. Well, as I say, I'm not. There's no advice really I can give for this because we haven't done it yet.
No.
So
we'll give advice afterwards once we know what it's like.
Yeah, and the advice will probably never do this.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
6 months later, we're here with like 6-foot-long beards.
Yep. I don't know what sun looks like anymore.
I haven't heard another human being that's not John. Oh dear. Anyway, it probably is time to just wrap this up now, I think. So,
delirium takes us.
Yeah. So, as I always do, I do have a little question for anyone at home that wants to comment in, either on our Instagram or directly through the comments here on YouTube, and that is, if you could add one massive cinematic centerpiece to your own gaming table, what would it be? Send us in your ideas, because you never know, we might try it at some point in time. Maybe. Or potentially, you can go ahead and make it, and we can just look at your amazing work. Yeah. So please do comment down below. If you've got intentions, ideas, whether you make them or not, or if you have actually done it, we'd love to see it. In fact, if someone's already done it, please send it to us. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
But with that being said, all I have left to do is obviously to ask and remind everyone to please like, subscribe, follow our socials, and leave a review of the episode if you enjoyed it. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch on occasion, although not as much at the moment. Although maybe by the time this goes out, we'll be back on it. Who knows? And obviously go and tell your friends and anyone who's in your hobby area to come and check us out. With that being said, I've been Jay, your host here at Mead Hall Gaming, and I've been joined by
John.
Thank you very much for joining us, and goodbye. We'll see you next time in the Mead Hall.
Goodbye.
See ya.